Everything can be taken away from man, except one thing: the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance, to choose one's own way. When we can no longer change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies growth and self-development. That's a quote by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was one of the survivors of the concentration camps. He wrote a famous book called Man's Search for Meaning. And in that book, he pointed out that while the prison guards could beat people and do all sorts of horrific things to them, one thing they couldn't do was change what was going on in people's minds. And in that book, he highlighted that to survive the camps, the people who survived because they had a purpose for living. They either wanted to see, a lot of it was about seeing loved ones. For those who gave up hope of not surviving, they died. So, statistics are something that are very, very important to how we actually manage to survive and thrive in our world. And the lottery is for people who don't understand statistics. I often say lottery for people, the lottery is for stupid people. Statistically, the chances of winning the lottery are often millions to one. Yet people continually buy the tickets, just a total waste of money. So statistics do have an important part to play. Let's talk about some of the most critical statistics that affects everybody on the planet. And that is the leading causes of death. In 2016, the leading cause of death worldwide, which amounted to the death of close to 10 million people, was heart disease. The second leading cause, which was around 5 million people, was due to stroke. The third one was COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, essentially caused by smoking. The third one was due to dementia, Alzheimer's disease. Next one was lower respiratory infections. Another one was lung cancer, then diabetes. Next on the list was car injuries, automobile accidents. The next one was diarrhea. And then finally, tuberculosis. Those are the leading causes of death. So let's take the current situation with the coronavirus. That coronavirus has killed 10,000 people worldwide so far, and it may be more. But eventually, the coronavirus will subside. So let's keep things in perspective. So if we're concerned about the coronavirus, logically, we should be concerned about the leading causes of death. And we should focus more on how we're going to survive those causes and have a longer and healthier life than be overly concerned about the coronavirus. a friend of mine today sent me a video with David Icke. Is it Icke or I-C-K? Sometimes I think is it Icky or Ike? I like to call him Icky. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Icky. Here's the main problem with Icky, is that he is constantly focused on what the problem is. It's always about the problem. If you're not familiar with him, he's a conspiracy theorist, and he has, the main theory he has is that we are all being controlled by the 1% that have all the money. He believes that that these are lizard people, and the queen is Queen Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth. What's her name again? Queen Elizabeth. Anyway, her. He believes she's a lizard. Anyway, David Icke has a wide following, and he is always talking about the government and all these conspiracy theories about how we're being controlled. He believes that the coronavirus is man-made. He believes that 5G is part of all this conspiracy, right? Now, let's be very clear. I'm not saying that everything that he says is inaccurate, but a lot of his stuff is conjecture and has no real proof. That aside, here's the major problem that I have with him. He only focuses on the problems. He has no solutions. Not once have I heard him come up with a solution as to how to solve these particular issues. Making somebody aware of a problem, that's all very well, but in his case, it might not even be a real problem, right? So all that fear-inducing stuff has some real issues. Now, let's take a look at somebody who did identify a real problem and who did do something about it. Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden identified a real problem that the US government were carrying out surveillance of not only their own population, but globally. And he did something about it. He came up with proof. He had real data to prove that they were doing something illegal. Now, he identified a problem, but he also had a solution, which was to expose them, right? David Icke doesn't have that same type of stuff. And in fact, I'm convinced he is making the situation worse. And here's why. Because of his ongoing theories, he essentially is telling everybody, you're being controlled, that they have a long-term plans to, kill nearly everybody except 500 million people, and essentially it creates this fear and helplessness and being a victim. Now, how's that going to help anybody? The more fear, even on that particular video, he was ranting and raving and being angry, right? Nothing wrong with fear and anger and those emotions. They're very useful. You do need the emotional fear to help you escape from situations, deal with issues. You will have fear if you see a car coming towards you, the fear of being killed. And so your system is designed to get you to step back quickly. That's great, but that fear subsides and is not damaging to your body. However, any long-term fear causes horrendous problems to you. When we have fear, our senses detect a problem. For example, the car coming towards you sends a signal to your amygdala, which sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which sends a signal amygdala, then to the hypothalamus, then to the pituitary glands, and then to your adrenal. So it's called a HPA, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal. The adrenal then pumps adrenal to your system so you can have that immediate energy move out of the way. It also introduces cortisol, lowers your immune system. And in the short term, that's not a problem. But long-term fear means that your system is compromised. And so if you listen to Icky, it's all fear. All I'm a victim, even anger, will also have this negative effect on you. So therefore, how is that helpful? It's not. And, it adds to the confusion if he is coming up with stuff that is not based on real data. And he even adds to the problem by doubting every bit of data that any government puts out. I mean, nothing is believable, and we're all even in more doubt, more confusion, right? So, not helpful. And on this issue of fear as well, fear and beliefs, let's take a look at this for a moment. It's a fact that there is a direct connection between our mind and our body. Our thoughts can make us ill, and they can also heal us. In Italy, which is a very, very sad situation, in Bergamo alone, on one day, over 500 people died. Now, if you are in Bergamo and it's a lockdown, and the only thing that you're hearing is about neighbors dying, you look on the news, the number of deaths keeps increasing, you will have fear. And that fear can lower your immune system, and a virus will definitely have a bigger impact on you. But even if the virus doesn't get to you, the fear, the belief it's possible that just believing it. I mean, you can imagine if an old person especially believes that the virus is everywhere, touch any surface, anybody comes in contact with it, the least cough, their belief system is immediately going to interpret everything, and they can easily die because of their beliefs. Yeah, it's proven. There's numerous studies that show that a belief that you have something alone can kill you. So media, unfortunately, adds to that to a certain extent, and anybody with a negative spin on things, anybody that's making the situation worse by fearmonger, etc., are essentially adding to more death. So, don't listen to Icky. He doesn't have any solutions. Yeah. So do I? Yes, I do, actually. Practical, real solutions that can make a difference, not just in the current situation, but long term. Our health is a critical thing to how we're going to enjoy our lives. So therefore, all our heart disease, stroke, etc., they are essentially because we don't do enough to look after ourselves. So in the current situation, it's a great time to reconsider how much time and effort you're putting into looking after yourself. Basic things to do, even now, not to wait until this is over, will be to exercise on a regular basis, start small, gradually build it up. Meditate. Meditation has scientifically been proven to lower people's heart rate, relieve stress in general, and have people have better relationships with other people. So definitely take up meditation. For those of you who say, "Oh, I can't really sit still for that long," there are all different types of meditation. Find one that suits you. There's walking meditation, guided meditation. If you take a look into it, you'll find something that will be useful to you. So next, of course, is your diet. Eating healthy, making sure that you eat foods that boost your immune system, that give you longevity, etc. That will also be a great way to do it. Now, I could go on and on and on, but basically, we all could do more to have a better health, and this will be a good wake-up call in many, many ways, right? So, fear is contagious as well. So right now, take a more optimistic view on things and don't get overly bogged down with all the negativity that's around you, right? Especially if you're with older people and so on. So how do I sum this up best? Is, as Viktor Frankl said, our power lies in the space between the stimulus and the response. So right now, choose to change yourself in some way that gives you a greater opportunity to grow and be more powerful. Stay safe, be well, and enjoy your life.